The clock is ticking. You don't always hear it. Not over the noise of the day, the endless notifications, the hollow chatter that fills the air. But you hear it in the silence. You hear it in the dead of night when you're staring at the ceiling, and in the harsh morning light when you catch your reflection in the mirror. And in that reflection, you see him. The same man you were a year ago, maybe even 5 years ago. The same tired eyes, the same hesitant posture, the same quiet questions lingering behind your gaze. There's a gnawing in your gut that has nothing to do with hunger. It's a deeper kind of emptiness. It's the feeling of potential curdling into regret. It's the ghost of the man you could have been, standing right behind you, a silent, constant accusation of the man you are. He's the version of you who took the risk, who started the business, who got in shape, who wrote the book. He didn't hesitate. He didn't wait. And his very existence mocks your inaction. This moment, this quiet, crushing realization is what we call the moment of weakness. It's the silent, internal admission that you have wasted time. Not just any resource, but the only one you can never, ever get back. For 99% of men, this feeling is a terminal diagnosis. It's a weight that crushes them. They feel the sting of regret and immediately seek an anesthetic. They drown it in distraction, burying the ghost under hours of mindless scrolling, binge-watching, and cheap dopamine. They let the pain paralyze them, pushing them back into the familiar, suffocating warmth of mediocrity, promising themselves that tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow is always a day away, and the cycle of regret and distraction becomes the very architecture of their lives. They become spectators, watching a film of their own slow decline, convincing themselves they are just waiting for the right scene to finally act. But the 1% are different. They are not immune to this feeling. They are not emotionless machines. They feel the same sting. They see the same ghost in the mirror. The difference is not in the feeling, but in the response. When they feel that gnawing in their gut, they don't see it as a wound to be sedated. They recognize it for what it is: fuel. They understand a fundamental law of the human mind, that profound, lasting change is almost never born from comfort. It is born from pain. It is forged in the fire of discontent. They take that regret, that sharp, painful awareness of wasted time, and they transmute it. They turn the poison into power. They understand that regret is not a destination. It is a signal. It's your own spirit screaming at you from the future, begging you to correct your course. It is a biological, psychological command to act, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, right now, as you listen to these words, you are standing at that exact fork in the road. The feeling that brought you here, that sense of unease, is that very signal. One path leads back to the comfortable darkness, back to the distractions and the empty promises of tomorrow. It's the path 99% of people will take. They will listen, feel a momentary spark, and then do nothing. The ghost in the mirror will grow a little taller, a little more confident. The other path is harder. It's uphill. It requires you to face that feeling head on, to use it, to honor it by taking action. It requires you to stop being the passive audience in the theater of your own life. It demands that you walk onto the stage, pick up the pen, and seize the script. The choice you make in the next few moments will determine everything that follows. So, the question is, which path will you choose? You believe you are preparing. You watch videos. You read articles. You listen to podcasts. You meticulously craft plans, filling notebooks with grand strategies and future triumphs. You tell yourself, with the utmost sincerity, that tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow, the diet begins. Tomorrow, the workout is non-negotiable. Tomorrow, you will finally start writing that business plan. This is the great illusion, the most sophisticated trap the human mind has ever designed for itself. Your strategy of waiting for motivation, of waiting for the perfect moment, is not a strategy at all. It is a slow-motion suicide of your potential, executed one wasted day at a time. Every hour you spend consuming content without taking action, you are not building knowledge. You are reinforcing the habit of passivity. You are not sharpening your sword. You are admiring its reflection while the enemy burns your city to the ground. With every video you watch about discipline, and then close the tab and do nothing, you are casting a vote for the man you claim you don't want to be. You are training your brain, through repetition, that the signal to act is actually the signal to consume more information. You are meticulously, skillfully, forging the very chains you complain about. The feeling of progress you get is a phantom. It's a cheap dopamine hit that mimics the sensation of achievement without requiring any of the sacrifice. It's the sugar rush of self-help, and it is rotting you from the inside out. The reality is this: comfort is a toxin. It's a warm, inviting poison that softens your resolve, dulls your senses, and convinces you that stagnation is safety. The modern world is engineered to deliver this toxin directly into your veins, 24 hours a day, through screens and notifications and endless streams of entertainment. And distraction. Distraction is a prison. It's a cell with invisible bars, furnished with everything you think you want, designed to keep you from looking at the one thing you need to see: the clock on the wall, ticking away the seconds of your life. But the most dangerous lie, the one that underpins this entire self-destructive architecture, is the belief that you have endless time. This is the foundational delusion that allows all the other excuses to flourish. You operate under the assumption that the bank of your life is infinitely funded, that you can squander today because there will always be 1,000 tomorrows to withdraw from. This is a fatal miscalculation. You must understand a critical truth. You are not passively waiting for the right conditions to magically appear. You are actively, consciously, choosing this state of being. You are choosing weakness over strength every time you hit the snooze button. You are choosing decay over growth every time you opt for the easy meal over the healthy one. You are choosing the prison of distraction over the freedom of focus with every mindless scroll. This is not something that is happening to you. It is a reality you are building with your own hands, second by second. Your mental armor, that internal fortitude required to face hardship and execute on your goals, isn't just weak from neglect. You are the one holding the acid. You are the one deliberately dissolving its integrity every single day, in exchange for a fleeting moment of ease. The question is no longer when you will start building. The question is, when will you stop tearing yourself down? This slow-motion suicide of your potential, this self-imposed prison of comfort, is not a modern invention. It is not a product of smartphones or social media, though they have certainly perfected its delivery system. No, this is an ancient vulnerability in the human operating system. And because it is ancient, there is an equally ancient law that governs it. A law that has been articulated by the wisest minds to ever walk the earth. A law that operates with the same cold, impartial force as gravity. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't listen to your excuses. It simply is. Nearly 2,000 years ago, one of the most powerful men in the Roman Empire, a philosopher and statesman named Seneca, etched this law into history. He wrote, quote, "Zero. Let those words sink in. This is not a self-help platitude. It is a diagnosis of the human condition." Your life, right now, as you listen to these words, is not short. You have been given a vast, almost incomprehensible expanse of seconds, minutes, and hours. The problem is not the supply. The problem is the catastrophic mismanagement of the asset. You are squandering a kingdom for a handful of trinkets. The universe is utterly indifferent to your narrative. It does not recognize your good intentions. It does not grade you on your potential. It doesn't award points for the grand plans you formulate in your mind, but never execute. It is a ledger. It recognizes only two entries: action and inaction, time spent and time invested. Every moment you spend scrolling through feeds, debating with strangers online, or passively consuming entertainment, you are not just relaxing. You are actively liquidating your most valuable, non-renewable asset, your life force, in exchange for a fleeting hit of dopamine. It is the worst trade in human history, and you are making it dozens of times a day. Think of your time as a finite amount of capital. Every morning, you are given a fresh allocation. What are you purchasing with it? Are you investing it in strength, in knowledge, in building the future you claim to want? Or are you bleeding it out, drip by agonizing drip, on distractions that will leave you with nothing but a hollow feeling of emptiness by day's end? That feeling you get late at night, that sense of anxiety and regret, is not a mystery. It is the you from the future, screaming back in time, begging you to stop the hemorrhage. This law is absolute. There is no cosmic court of appeals where you can argue your case. You cannot explain that you were tired, that you were unmotivated, that the conditions weren't perfect. The accounting is purely mathematical. The time you waste on things that do not serve your ultimate purpose is gone. It is not paused. It is not stored. It is annihilated. It is a hole in your existence that can never be filled. And this accounting, this final audit of your life, is not something that happens on a distant day of judgment. It is happening right now. It happens at the end of every day, every week, every year, when you look in the mirror and are forced to confront the man you have chosen to become through the thousands of tiny choices you've made. The bill is already coming due. You are paying it every single day with the currency of your own unfulfilled potential. So, you have faced the truth. You understand the law of wasted time and the indifference of the universe. Good. Awareness is the first step, but it is also the most useless if it does not lead to a change in operations. The men who succeed, the 1% who escape the gravity of mediocrity, do not operate on hope. They do not wait for motivation. They live by a code. They execute a protocol. What follows are your new standing orders. This is not a list of suggestions to be considered. This is the blueprint for the mental armor you will now begin to forge. Memorize it. Live by it. First, seize the dawn. Before the sun has even considered rising, your feet will be on the floor. You will not reach for your phone. You will not negotiate with the weakness in your mind that begs for 5 more minutes. You will rise and immediately complete one difficult task. This is a non-negotiable, strategic victory. Willpower is a finite resource, strongest in the morning before the 1,000 tiny cuts of daily decisions have bled it dry. By winning this first battle against your own comfort, you set the psychological tone for the entire day. You are the commander, not the commanded. Second, conduct a time autopsy. For the next 7 days, you will become a forensic investigator of your own life. You will log every 30-minute block of your waking hours. This is not a casual journal. It is a clinical examination. You will identify the malignant growths of wasted time, the mindless scrolling, the pointless arguments, the passive consumption. You will find the enemy within your schedule, and you will eliminate it without mercy. Your mind lies to you about where the hours go. This autopsy will force you to confront the cold, hard data of your own self-sabotage. Third, mandate discomfort. Your body has been conditioned for ease, and it has made your mind soft. You will now intentionally inflict hardship upon it. Cold showers, intermittent fasting, grueling workouts that push you to the edge of failure. This is not about punishment. It is about control. Each deliberate act of discomfort is a declaration that your mind, your will, is the master of the flesh, not its servant. You are teaching your nervous system that it can endure, that stress is not a signal to retreat, but a catalyst for growth. Fourth, contemplate your death. Every single morning, for 60 seconds, you will look the ultimate truth in the eye. You will face your own mortality. This is the ancient practice of memento mori, and its purpose is not to create fear, but to engineer urgency. In the face of your own finite existence, the petty anxieties and trivial distractions of the day are exposed for the illusions they are. This practice clarifies your mission. The clock is not just ticking, you can now hear it. Fifth, define your citadel. You will take out a piece of paper and write down the one single objective that defines your life's mission. This is your fortress, your reason for being. Every action you take from this moment forward is to be measured against this standard. Is this step taking me closer to the citadel, or is it a retreat into the desert of distraction? There is no middle ground. A man without a mission is simply driftwood in the currents of circumstance. Sixth, the obstacle is the path. When you encounter resistance, a problem, or a setback, you will not deviate. You will not complain. You will attack. You must fundamentally reprogram your mind to see that challenge not as something in your way, but as the way itself. The friction is what sharpens the blade. The weight is what builds the muscle. That problem is not an interruption to your mission. It is the mission. Seventh, master your perception. Events in the world are neutral. They are pure data. It is your reaction, your emotional interpretation, that gives them power over you. You will practice stripping the emotion from the event. See only the facts. What is the next logical, productive action? Take it. This is how you move from being a slave to your feelings to being the master of your response. Eighth, practice premeditatio malorum. Spend 5 minutes each day visualizing the loss of what you hold dear: your health, your wealth, your relationships. This will not make you weak or fearful. It will do the opposite. It will inoculate you against future pain and cultivate a profound gratitude for what you have right now. It makes you psychologically unbeatable, for you have already faced the worst in your own mind. Ninth, purge your circle. Look at the people you spend your time with. Identify the anchors, those who preach comfort, who complain, who celebrate weakness. You will cut them out of your life. This is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of survival. Your circle is a reflection of your future. You must make it a war council dedicated to strength and growth, not a support group for mediocrity. And finally, 10th, enforce the action protocol. The time for learning more is over. The time for doing more has begun. Information without application is a dangerous delusion. Your new default setting is no longer, "I will think about it." It is, "I am doing it." You will build a bias for immediate, imperfect action over delayed, perfect planning. This is the final lock in your new suit of armor. You are no longer a spectator. You are a participant. You are an executor. You have heard the orders. 10 principles forged in the crucible of discipline, designed to rebuild you from the ground up. Right now, your mind might be reeling. It might feel like an impossible standard, a mountain too high to climb. The voice of your old self, the voice of weakness, is already whispering excuses. It's saying, "This is too much. This is for someone else. Maybe later." That feeling of being overwhelmed is the first test. It is the final defense mechanism of the mediocrity you're trying to escape. The 99% will see 10 commandments and freeze, paralyzed by the scale of the task. They will use the perceived difficulty as a justification to do nothing at all. But you are not them. You will not make that mistake. The path to building mental armor is not about doing everything at once. It is about doing one thing with absolute, unwavering conviction. This is your final command. You have 24 hours. Not to master all 10 rules. Not to transform your life overnight. That is a fantasy. Your task is simpler and infinitely more profound. You are to choose one. Just one. Look at the list again. Seize the dawn. Conduct a time autopsy. Mandate discomfort. Which one makes you the most uncomfortable? Which one does your inner coward fear the most? That is your target. That is your weapon. For the next 24 hours, that single rule is your entire reality. If you choose the dawn, then tomorrow morning, before the world has a right to your time, your feet will be on the floor and you will execute. No debate. No negotiation. If you choose to contemplate your mortality, you will sit for 60 seconds and stare into the abyss, letting the urgency of your finite existence recalibrate your priorities. The specific rule is less important than the act of choosing and executing with perfect, uncompromising discipline. This 24-hour period is a microcosm of your entire life. It is the great war fought on a small battlefield. Within this single day, you will prove which identity you are choosing to inhabit. Will you be the man who makes a decision and honors it, or the man who makes a promise and breaks it before the sun is set? The consequences are immediate and absolute. In 24 hours, you will have either taken the first definitive step out of the trap, feeling the unfamiliar ache of growth, the clean sting of victory, or you will have once again consented to remain inside it. Understand this critical truth. Inaction is a decision. By failing to choose and execute, you are actively choosing your prison. You are signing another lease on your own weakness. The clock has already started. The choice is yours. The consequences are also, inescapably, yours. Now, it is time to formalize this decision. It is time to draw a line in the sand that you cannot uncross. It is time to pick up your weapon. That weapon is your will, and you will aim it at the man you were yesterday. Go to the comments section of this transmission. You are not going there to consume more, to read what others have written. You are going there to make a public vow, a contract with yourself, witnessed by the world. This act of writing it down, of putting it out there, is not for show. It is a psychological trigger. It makes the abstract concrete. It turns a fleeting thought into a binding declaration of war against your own inertia. Write these exact words. Do not alter them. Do not add to them. This is your creed. I am the architect of my time, not its victim. Read it again. An architect plans, builds, takes responsibility for the structure. A victim is crushed by the falling debris of circumstance, complaining about the design they never had the courage to create. When you write this, you are not writing it for me. You are not writing it for an algorithm. You are writing it for the man in the mirror. The man who is tired of the excuses. The man who is ready to take command. This is your seal. This is your oath. Once you have written it, your task is clear. Close this transmission. The time for listening is over. The time for learning new information has passed. That part of your journey is complete. Any more consumption is just another form of procrastination. You have your order. You have your target. You have your deadline. The only thing left is execution. Get to work.